An important consumer alert this morning as Americans battle rising prices. Shoppers in Ohio are accusing Dollar General of shady business practices.
Customers and county auditors alike finding that over and over again, the prices on shelves are lower than what they are ringing up for at the register.
I've begun to really see Dollar General as like a criminal organization.
You're stealing from my community, and I think they're very aware of it.
Dollar General is deeply embroiled in a scandal that reveals a darker side to its business, exploiting some of America's poorest communities. Legal battles and public outcry are shining a light on the company's cunning strategies, with lawsuits piling up as evidence mounts against their unethical operations. But what else is lurking behind those yellow and black signs that Dollar General doesn't want you to know? Join us as we uncover the hidden truths and explore the full extent of the controversies surrounding this retail giant. How Dollar General's business model harms America's poor. With nearly 20,000 stores in 48 states, this Tennessee-based discount chain is found in many low-income rural and suburban areas. At first, these stores might seem like they are there because people are struggling economically. But investigations suggest that Dollar General might be making these struggles worse. Behind the promise of low, everyday prices in convenient locations, Dollar General has a troubling business model. They are involved in a big scandal that most people don't know about. The fact that people have to take legal action to make this company be honest shows just how bad the situation is. Meet Lori Harline, who shops at Dollar General often because it's close by. When looking for a grocery store, she usually finds several Dollar General stores before finding a regular grocery store, giving her few options. But this wasn't the worst part. In May 2022, Lori started noticing small price differences at her local Dollar General. The store, which opened in 2021, used to sell kitty litter for $8.95, and Lori bought it regularly without thinking much about it. But then the price suddenly went up to $10. When she asked about it, she was told that prices had gone up, but the shelf labels hadn't been updated. Only the system had the new prices. This problem kept happening, making her more suspicious. One morning, while watching the news, Lori heard about a lawsuit against Dollar General in Ohio for deceptive pricing. This confirmed her suspicions and showed that her experiences were part of a bigger pattern of misleading practices by the company. Lori had been dealing with constant overcharging at her local Dollar General for months. Seeing similar stories in the news made her feel she wasn't alone, so she decided to take action. She wrote to the Oklahoma Attorney General, and to her surprise, she got a response in just 2 days, saying her letter had been sent to the right people. Dollar General quickly apologized and offered her a $10 gift card. But Lori felt this was an insult given all her troubles, so she turned down the offer. As Lori's frustration grew, her case caught the eye of Mark Dan, a lawyer with lots of experience. He saw her story as part of a bigger problem and used it to start a class action lawsuit, which soon included similar cases from New York and New Jersey. Mark was sure Dollar General's actions weren't mistakes, but part of a plan to make more money by tricking customers. Lori remembered a specific day on June 22nd when she was overcharged for 4 of the 11 items she bought. An item that was supposed to be $6.50 was charged at $7.95. She argued that this kind of tricking customers about prices and then charging more at the register was basically stealing, which is against consumer protection laws in the US. Mark Dan pointed out that companies, just like people, have to follow the law, which made Dollar General's actions even more serious. Nevertheless, what happened next is even more concerning. The way Dollar General responded and the legal battles that followed showed a big problem. They were making money by overcharging people on purpose. Lori's testimony and other similar stories aimed to show how wrong these business practices were and to push for changes to protect customers from being tricked again. The case highlighted the need for stricter enforcement of pricing laws and raised important questions about corporate responsibility and consumer rights in America. The legal team, with Lori's story and others like it, wanted to stop these unfair practices and make sure companies couldn't get away with cheating their customers. They pushed for accountability and reform to protect consumers from further deception. Dollar General's sneaky business tactics are more deeply rooted than most people know, says Stacy Mitchell from the Institute for Local Self-Reliance. The company sets up in poor areas where people don't have much money or political power. By opening lots of stores in these places, Dollar General stops new grocery stores and local businesses from opening, which the community really needs. As the chain grows, it makes the economic problems in these areas worse, thriving off the poverty it helps create. This means the poorest people, who have few other options, end up shopping at stores that aren't honest about prices. This kind of business, which takes advantage of vulnerable people to make money, is one of the worst Stacy Mitchell has seen. In the U.S., every county and state has systems to make sure prices at the checkout are correct. Price verification means checking that if something costs $2.99, it rings up as $2.99 at the register. Usually, if there are one or two mistakes, they are quickly fixed, so people trust the system. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. With Dollar General, mistakes were not only common, but kept happening, with over 80% of their stores failing price checks regularly. Even after many warnings, Dollar General didn't fix the problems, so the Ohio Attorney General took legal action against them. How Dollar General's cost-cutting hurts communities. One big problem is how Dollar General handles staffing. Many of their stores don't have enough workers, and those who are there often don't get proper training on how to run the store. This lack of training includes important tasks, like checking prices to make sure they match the shelf labels. This shows that Dollar General may be ignoring these issues on purpose to save money, putting profit over following the law and being fair to customers. This situation with Dollar General highlights how important it is to have strong rules and to make sure companies follow them. By not training their staff properly and ignoring price check rules, Dollar General is taking advantage of customers, especially in poor areas where people already have it tough. The legal actions against them are a step towards making sure companies can't get away with these unfair practices. When a company cuts the number of employees to save money, pricing mistakes are bound to happen more often. This isn't just an accident. It happens because there aren't enough staff to make sure prices are correct. Dollar General has chosen to boost profits by ignoring these rules and cutting costs. The fines for these practices are so small that they're just seen as a regular business expense and don't stop the company from continuing its actions. Since 2017, Dollar General has been fined over $20 million by various state and federal agencies. But these fines are tiny compared to the huge amounts of money the company has taken from communities. Mark points out that with 19,000 stores and millions of transactions every day, even a small number of pricing mistakes can lead to big illegal profits. For example, if 10% of transactions include a small overcharge like 10 cents, it can add up to hundreds of millions of dollars taken from America's poorest people and given to Dollar General's shareholders. Moreover, the deeper issue lies just beneath the surface. Because these violations are so widespread, stronger actions might be needed. It could be time to consider shutting down the company if it doesn't stop its deceptive practices. Just giving fines hasn't worked, so maybe more drastic steps are needed to force change. Some believe the executives who created these profit schemes should face legal consequences. Dollar General can quickly build new stores, often within a week or two, and start making money by overcharging customers, whether it's a quarter, a dime, or 35 cents. Most people don't have the time or energy to complain about such small amounts, but some are determined to make the company accountable. Dollar General needs to face real consequences for its actions. Cutting staff to save money leads to pricing errors, which unfairly takes money from customers. The fines so far haven't been enough to stop the company, so it's time for bigger changes to protect consumers and ensure fair business practices. Dollar General works on a simple idea. They stock about 10,000 different items, focusing on offering fewer choices within each type. Think of it as a smaller version of Walmart. They aim to provide a one-stop shopping experience, but shoppers might need to be flexible about the brand, size, or quality of what they buy. At Walmart, you might see whole aisles for things like pans, toilet paper, or laundry detergent. Dollar General, on the other hand, usually offers just one option for each of these items. Walmart, being the biggest retailer in the world, has a lot of power with suppliers like Procter and Gamble. If Walmart stopped carrying Tide detergent, it could hurt P&G's profits a lot. Walmart also risks losing customers to stores like Target if they don't stock popular brands like Tide. Dollar General, although not as big as Walmart, still has a lot of influence because of its size. However, its strategy is different. Walmart's strength comes from having everything from groceries to electronics under one roof. Dollar General's strength is in its simplicity and convenience, often being the only store in some areas. This allows them to negotiate strongly with suppliers to be the only brand of certain products in their stores, like laundry detergent. This power means manufacturers often agree to Dollar General's terms to keep their business, leading to deals that can be as good as, or even better than, Walmart's. For example, Dollar General offers a $1 bottle of Tide brand detergent. To meet Dollar General's need to keep prices low while still carrying a well-known brand, Procter & Gamble created a special $1 bottle of Tide. While Dollar General uses its bargaining power to offer these deals, it's important to consider the overall impact on the communities they serve. The low prices and convenience can come at the cost of limited choices and potentially lower quality. So while Dollar General's strategy helps them stay competitive, it also raises questions about the broader effects on shoppers and suppliers. The simplicity and low prices attract customers, but the trade-offs are something to think about. Dollar General's big advantage comes from where they choose to put their stores. While other stores might see remote areas as a problem, Dollar General sees them as an opportunity. By picking places with low rent, they keep their costs down. For example, a store in North Creek, New York, pays $118,000 a year in rent. In Sullivan, Maine, it's $103,000. And in Faith, South Dakota, it's $106,000. This means their daily rent cost is about $300 to $400. And with similar costs for staffing, each store operates with less than $1,000 in daily overhead. Filling the grocery gap in isolated communities, Dollar General avoids locations where rent is more than $150,000 a year to stick with their low-cost model. But the low rent isn't the only reason these locations work for them. It's also because these areas are isolated. In places like Haven, Kansas, with 1,170 residents and no grocery store, Dollar General fills an important gap. While it's not a full grocery store, it does offer dry goods, frozen food, and some fresh items. The nearest grocery store is 10 minutes away, and a big supermarket is 22 minutes away in Hutchinson. So, locals often use Dollar General for their everyday needs and only go to bigger stores occasionally for fresh and specialty items. This shopping habit, driven by convenience and necessity, is common in both rural and urban areas. But this wasn't the worst part. In Atlanta, Georgia, and its suburbs, even with major grocery chains like Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Lidl, Publix, Kroger, and Walmart, there are still big gaps in grocery store coverage. These gaps make shopping hard, especially in areas where people don't have cars. According to the USDA's Food Access Atlas, some neighborhoods in Atlanta have over 100 households without a vehicle, and the nearest supermarket is more than half a mile away. These areas often have higher poverty rates, making access to affordable food even more critical. Dollar General's strategy of setting up stores in underserved, remote areas meets a real need and makes the store a key part of the community. By being the most accessible, or sometimes the only, place to shop for essentials, they become a part of daily life in these communities. This strategy not only takes advantage of a lack of competition, but also shows how important their location choices are to their business model. To keep costs low, Dollar General usually employs between 6 to 10 workers, each making around minimum wage. Surprisingly, 92% of Dollar General's employees earn less than $15 an hour. This is worrying, especially compared to local grocery stores they often replace, which employ twice as many people and keep profits in the community. In contrast, profits from dollar stores go to faraway investors. Dollar stores create a tricky situation for low-income communities. They aren't the cause or the solution to the problems these areas face. Instead, they take advantage of existing issues and often make them worse. Communities across America are starting to resist the spread of dollar stores because of the harm they cause. In 2023, Dollar General employees protested outside the company's headquarters in Tennessee, demanding better pay and safer working conditions. In 2018, Tulsa passed a rule to limit new dollar stores and encourage full-service grocery stores. Since then, 75 communities have rejected new dollar stores, and 54 cities have put limits on them. While these actions are small compared to the thousands of dollar stores, they show strong community pushback. Dollar General and other dollar stores exploit economic weaknesses. They outcompete local businesses not by offering better products, but by being more convenient. This may seem harmless, but it leads to long-term harm for communities. It favors short-term convenience over sustainable local economies, hurting the communities they serve. This is where government intervention is crucial. It can help balance short-term convenience with long-term benefits for the community. Traditional American main streets, already hurt by big-box stores, now face a new threat from dollar stores. Unlike Walmart, which couldn't match the convenience of local stores, Dollar General doesn't have this problem. Dollar General's simple yet effective business model acts like a vortex, draining diversity and vibrancy from towns and replacing them with uniform, dull stores. While this model is profitable, it leaves behind economic and cultural damage, turning lively communities into places filled with uninspiring and harmful establishments. Dollar General is trying new things by adding more fresh and refrigerated products and moving into city areas. They are also growing a new brand called Pop Shelf, aimed at wealthier suburban shoppers. Pop Shelf sells less essential items like home decor and party supplies instead of daily necessities. Even though Dollar General is expanding its market, this move sticks to their basic business idea. They think they can serve different customers by opening stores in cities, rural areas, and suburbs. As they offer new products and reach out to different types of customers, they still expect that their main customers will be people in small towns with few shopping options. This plan shows how Dollar General is changing to meet different needs while still focusing on their regular customers. But this wasn't the worst part. While they are trying to attract new customers, they are still heavily relying on those in small towns. This means the issues of limited choices and economic strain in these areas continue. As Dollar General grows, it's clear they are still using their old strategies. They keep costs low and spread into areas where there are few other shopping options. This might bring more convenience, but can also lead to problems like less variety and lower quality. Dollar General's efforts to expand into new areas and markets show they are trying to grow, but their focus on small towns means they continue to play a big role in the economic challenges faced by these communities. They are aiming to cater to a wider range of customers while sticking to what they know best. Could Dollar General be aware of the detrimental effects its stores have on local economies, choosing profit over the well-being of its customers? Let us know, like, and subscribe for more.